That's why a lot of these celebrities that start these things, they can't keep up. You know, like the Meghan Markles.
But you're the same.
It's nice to get alone.
Some of the stuff I like is dumb.
Yeah.
I like South Park.
Yeah.
I like
South Park
things.
is the
South
best.
Park rules.
And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
12:07 a.m. A phone rings in Los Angeles. The guy answers, half asleep, thinking it's a wrong number. Then he hears the voice on the other end. Sharp, calm, unmistakable. "You don't know me," she says, "but I think you know what this is about." It's Meghan Markle. And she's about to make the biggest mistake of her week. One midnight call, one podcast comment, and everything's about to spiral completely out of control. Here's what happened when a former Duchess tried to erase herself from the internet in real time. Before we get into this wild story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because what comes next is absolutely unbelievable. Drop a like if you're already curious. Let's go. So here's how this whole thing kicks off. Joe Rogan's podcast drops a segment about Meghan and her so-called media manipulation. It's barely 2 minutes of airtime, right? Nothing major, just him and a guest sitting there talking, making some offhand comments about power games and control tactics behind palace doors. The kind of conversation that happens on podcasts every single day. But this time, different story. Within hours, that clip is all over every platform you can think of. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, you name it. It's spreading faster than anyone could have predicted. Hashtags start blowing up. Rogan exposes. Meghan is taking over social media feeds, shooting straight to the top of trending lists. Fan accounts are sharing it. Royal watchers are dissecting every word. Even late-night hosts are starting to pick it up. The clip's on repeat, getting millions of views, and it's only been a few hours since the episode dropped. Now, here's where it gets wild. Most people in Meghan's position, especially someone who's dealt with media drama for years, would call their PR team, right? Have them handle it, put out some bland statement, maybe ignore it completely, and let it blow over. That's PR 101. But not Meghan. Not this time. Instead, she grabs her phone and dials Rogan's production manager herself. At 12:07 a.m., middle of the night. No warning, no assistant making the call first. Just her, personally reaching out to someone she's never spoken to before. The guy's phone lights up with an unknown Beverly Hills number. He's half asleep, probably already in bed, answers thinking it's maybe a wrong number or some weird spam call, maybe someone drunk dialing. Then he hears the voice on the other end. Sharp, steady, unmistakable. The kind of voice you recognize even if you've never heard it directly before.
Being a part of this family and the platform that comes with that is an incredible responsibility that I take really seriously.
"You don't know me," she says, and there's this pause. "But I think you know what this is about." The manager's confused at first. His brain's still foggy from sleep. He thinks it's gotta be a prank. Has to be. I mean, who actually does this? Who calls a random production manager at midnight? But then she says her full name slowly, deliberately, making sure he understands exactly who he's talking to. "This is Meghan Markle, and I'm telling you that episode needs to disappear before morning." He freezes, completely stops moving. The air in the room just gets thick, you know? She's not shouting, she's not yelling, she's not losing control, but every single word carries this weight. The kind that comes from someone who's used to getting what she wants, who's had to fight for control in a world that kept trying to take it away. "If you think you can mock me on your platform and get away with it," she continues, voice never wavering, "you're mistaken. Delete it or I'll make sure you regret it." The line goes silent for a second, just dead air. The manager doesn't know what to say. His mouth opens, but nothing comes out. Finally, he stammers out something about not being able to remove published episodes, that the decision has to come from Rogan's team directly, that he's just one person in the chain. That's when Meghan's tone shifts, gets colder. quieter, more deliberate. Then wake him up. The call ends, just like that. No goodbye, no follow-up, just a click and silence. But before he can even process what just happened, before he can set his phone down or take a breath, his phone rings again. Different number this time, like completely untraceable. Unknown caller. The voice on the other end isn't Meghan's anymore. It's a man's voice. Calm, polished. The kind of voice that sounds like it's read from a script 1,000 times. Terrifyingly professional. "I'm calling on behalf of the Duchess," he says, like this is a normal business call. "You'll hear from us by morning. I suggest you act before then." Click. Line goes dead. The production manager just sits there, staring at his phone. 2 calls in 5 minutes. 2 intense warnings. One from Meghan herself, one from someone who clearly works for her. He doesn't sleep the rest of the night. By dawn, Spotify's internal channels are in complete chaos. Screenshots of the midnight calls are circulating among producers, getting forwarded up the chain. People are panicking, sending messages back and forth, trying to figure out what to do, who can actually do something about this, whether they should take this seriously or not.
You just can't keep faking it. It's too hard.
Someone from Rogan's inner circle sends one message that pretty much sums up the entire mood. She's trying to scare us into silence. The message gets liked immediately, shared across internal threads. But if Meghan thought scaring people would make the episode disappear, if she thought a couple midnight calls would be enough to shut this down, she was dead wrong. Because by 9 a.m., Rogan himself finds out. He wakes up, checks his phone, sees the messages, and his entire mood shifts. And his response? Well, that's about to make this situation spiral completely out of control. Morning comes, Rogan's up early, doing his usual routine, coffee brewing, scrolling through his phone, checking messages. Then he sees it, a text from his producer. "You're not going to believe this. Meghan Markle called me at midnight, told me to delete last night's episode." Rogan stops mid-sip. He reads it again, then again. "She what?" he types back. Within seconds, the message thread lights up. Screenshots pour in from everywhere. Timestamps from the call log, missed calls from unknown numbers, even a short voicemail. Rogan taps play, and there it is. That voice. Unmistakable, polished, firm, dripping with controlled fury. "Take it down. You know who I am." He listens twice just to make sure he's hearing this right. Then he laughs. It's a low, disbelieving sound that quickly turns sharp. Almost cold. "Oh, this is rich," he mutters to himself. "She's trying to control my show." He immediately grabs his phone, emergency meeting, producers, Spotify reps, everyone who needs to know about this. The tone isn't calm. Nobody's taking this lightly. "I don't care who she thinks she is," Rogan says, voice cutting through the room. "Nobody tells me what I can or can't say on my own podcast. Nobody." His team's nodding, backing him up, but behind the scenes, Spotify's corporate side is absolutely panicking. Emails fly across time zones. New York, London, Stockholm, all marked urgent. All asking the same basic question. Did Meghan Markle really make that call? Is this real? The production manager, still shaken from the night before, confirms every single detail. He even pulls up the call log on his phone, shows them the exact time, 12:07 a.m., incoming call from a Beverly Hills number. They trace it back, and sure enough, it's registered to one of Meghan's personal assistants. This isn't some random prank. This actually happened. Spotify's team is horrified. Like,
Someone wanted a lot of attention, and now they got it.
That was the whole episode.
That was the app.
Yeah.
That was the premise.
Is that what it was? Like, we want privacy, and they keep going on.
genuinely scared. Royal drama is one thing. Tabloid headlines, public feuds, that's all manageable. But a direct midnight call from a former duchess to their most profitable creator, telling him to delete content, that's a whole different level. By mid-morning, the company's position becomes clear. They want to handle this quietly. Keep it internal. Don't make waves. Someone from the executive team reaches out to Rogan's camp with a carefully worded message about managing the situation the right way. Rogan's response, immediate, doesn't even hesitate. He texts back 4 words. Hell no, we're doing this live. That afternoon, he's already in the studio, taping his next episode. Everything's going normal at first. Guests there, conversations flowing, typical Rogan setup. Then midway through, right in the middle of discussing something completely unrelated, he leans into the mic and goes completely off script. So apparently Meghan Markle doesn't like what I said about her last night, he starts, and you can hear the grin in his voice. There's this pause. The guest looks confused. The producers behind the glass freeze. Crazy thing, Rogan continues. She called my team around midnight. Personally, told them to delete the episode, said we'd regret it if we didn't. The audience goes wild, both in the studio and online. Laughter, disbelief, outrage. People can't believe what they're hearing. Someone in the live chat types "no way" in all caps and it gets copied 1,000 times. Rogan's just sitting back, letting it sink in. Look, I get it, he says, voice steady, but you can hear the edge underneath. She's royalty, or was. But that doesn't give her the right to tell people what they can say on free air. This isn't Buckingham Palace. This is my studio. The clip spreads before the episode even ends. Someone screen records it, uploads it to Twitter. Within minutes, it's viral. Hashtags dominate every feed. Rogan vs. Meghan. Midnight call. Comment sections fill up with people picking sides, sharing opinions, making jokes. The whole internet's watching now. But then Rogan does something nobody expected. Something that takes this from a viral moment to an absolute firestorm. He reaches over, taps a button, and plays the voicemail. The actual voicemail. Unedited. Live. On air. Take it down. Her voice fills the studio, the stream, every device tuned in. You know who I am. That's it. That one sentence, short, icy, undeniable.
There's a lot of focus on every detail and every moment of quiet.
And it becomes the most replayed soundbite of the entire week. People clip it, remix it, turn it into memes. TikTokers overlay it with dramatic music. YouTubers break it down frame by frame. Parody accounts have a field day. The audio is on every platform you can think of, racking up millions and millions of plays. It's unavoidable. In Los Angeles, Meghan's team is watching in absolute horror. The thing they tried to kill at midnight is now bigger than ever. But it gets worse. Because a few hours later, another voicemail comes through to Rogan's phone. Different from the first. This time it's not Meghan's voice. It's someone from her team, professional, measured, but unmistakably intense in that corporate way. The message talks about crossing lines and consequences and making things right. Next day, Rogan's back in the studio, and guess what? He plays that one too, puts it right out there for everyone to hear. Amicable, huh? He says into the mic, shaking his head. You call me at midnight with demands, send your people after me with more demands, and I'm supposed to apologize. Nope, not happening. The internet lights up all over again. This time, the hashtag shifts. Now it's hashtag Rogan vs. Meghan trending at number 1. The story's not dying down. If anything, it's blowing up even more. And Meghan? She's about to find out that trying to control Joe Rogan's podcast was the worst move she could have made. By dawn, newsrooms across the country are waking up to the same thing sitting in their inbox. An email. No subject line. Just an attached file labeled Markle_after_midnight.mp3 and a brief note underneath. She said this less than an hour after going after Rogan's team. Verify it yourself. The sender? Anonymous. Email routed through multiple servers. impossible to trace back to anyone specific. But the file itself? That's very, very real. The Daily Express is the first to bite. Their editors open the file, play it through once, then immediately call in their audio team. Check this out, they say. Tell us if it's legit. The engineers run it through their systems, analyzing every detail. Room tone matches previous verified recordings. Vocal patterns line up perfectly. There's even that same subtle background echo you get from her Montecito office, the one that's been in other leaked clips before. An hour later, they have their answer. It's authentic, one engineer confirms. If this is fake, it's the best fake we've ever seen.
There's a war room.
I think I tuned
The
out.
Royals.
The
The
Royal
Royals
War Room.
have got. They're about to go to war.
Then the clip drops, and it's absolutely nuclear. 90 seconds, that's all it is. 90 seconds of raw, unfiltered fury. No polish, no media training, no careful word choice. Just Meghan, caught in a moment she never wanted anyone to hear. Her voice comes through unmistakable, cutting, filled with this barely contained rage. He thinks he can mock me, she says, and you can hear something breaking in the background. I built this narrative, I controlled it. They owe me respect. There's a pause. Someone in the room with her says something, but it's too quiet to make out. Then her voice comes back even harder. Rogan wants a war? Fine, I'll show him how quickly I can end a career. A glass thuds down hard. The sound echoes through the recording. Then another line comes through, and this one's even colder than the first. The kind of cold that makes your skin crawl. Call Spotify, she says, slow and deliberate. Tell them if that episode's not gone by sunrise, I'll start talking about their internal contracts, about things they don't want public. They won't survive that. The room goes quiet after that, just her breathing, sharp, angry. You can almost feel the tension through the audio, then it cuts out. That's it. That's the whole thing. 90 seconds that change everything. Minutes later, hashtag Mark Tirade is all over the internet. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, no matter where you look. TikTok creators are already overlaying it with subtitles, adding dramatic music, creating reaction videos. Podcasters are pulling emergency episodes together, dissecting every single word she said. YouTubers are breaking it down, analyzing her tone, speculating about what those internal contracts could be. The audio spreads faster than anything Rogan posted. This isn't just drama anymore. This is a full meltdown caught on tape. Back at Spotify's headquarters, everything turns into a control room. People running between offices, emergency calls happening in every conference room, executives trying to figure out where this came from, how bad the damage is, what they're supposed to do about it. Someone leaks an internal memo before the day's even over, and it gets posted online for the world to see. The message is short, direct. No action will be taken against Joe Rogan. Maintain neutrality. Do not issue public comment. That memo tells you everything you need to know about where Spotify stands. They're not backing Meghan. They're protecting their biggest asset. At noon, Rogan posts to Instagram. No video this time, just a simple text post with a caption that says it all. You can't bully the truth. The post itself is longer.
The definition of a harlot is a prostitute.
Yeah, that's a whole word.
I take that back.
Yeah.
It's a her. It's a her.
He writes it out in full, making sure people understand exactly what happened. That was Meghan Markle trying to pressure a global company because she didn't like a podcast. You heard the tape. That wasn't me twisting words. That was her, raw and unfiltered, showing exactly who she is when the cameras aren't rolling. The post racks up 5 million views in 2 hours. Comments flood in, thousands of them, most supporting Rogan, some defending Meghan. But people are talking. The whole internet has an opinion. The story's completely consumed social media. Across the ocean, the palace watches everything unfold in complete silence. Kensington Palace, Buckingham Palace, all the royal residences. Not a single statement, not a word. One aide later tells a reporter off the record, "It's extraordinary. For once, they don't need to say anything. The world's seeing it play out in real time." And that silence, that's the most damaging response of all, because it says everything without saying anything. The royal family's not rushing to defend her. They're just watching, waiting, letting her deal with the mess she made. In Montecito, the fallout is immediate and brutal. 2 of Meghan's senior PR people resign before lunch. Just pack up their stuff and leave. One of them sends a short message to the team before walking out. "I can't do this anymore. This is beyond what I signed up for." Her communications director tries calling an emergency meeting, but by that point, half the staff is too rattled to focus. People are scared, confused, nobody knows what to do. Her team advises her to go completely dark, no statements, no interviews, no social media. Just disappear for a while and let this blow over. Stay quiet, they tell her. Don't give them anything else to work with. But Meghan refuses. She's pacing her living room, phone in hand, voice rising. "If I don't fight back, they'll bury me," she says. "They'll control the narrative. I can't let that happen." But here's the thing. The narrative's already out of her control. And it's about to get so much worse. Because someone's about to reveal where that tape actually came from. And the answer's going to shock everyone, including Meghan herself. Meghan hires someone to trace the leak. Not just any investigator, but a specialist in digital forensics. Somebody who can dig through servers and IP addresses and figure out exactly where that audio came from. She needs to know who did this. Was it the palace? Was it Rogan's camp? A person with a grudge? She needs answers, and she needs them fast.
Pandas?
Yeah, send a
It was
message.
kill
Send a
those
message.
pandas and be like, all right, we're done.
Can I get my
Yeah,
deposit back?
yeah.
We leased it, but it's damaged.
We're not paying the deposit.
The digital trail gets followed carefully. Every upload point, every server bounce, every encrypted handoff. Days of work compressed into hours because this is urgent. And when the results finally come back, when the investigator traces that recording all the way to its source, it doesn't point to London, doesn't point to Rogan's studio in Austin. It points to Montecito, her own property, her own network. The data leads to a laptop registered to one of her staffers, an executive assistant. 32 years old, worked there for barely 6 months. She wasn't some random hire either. She lived in Meghan's guest house, had access to the main residence, was trusted with schedules, phone calls, private meetings, the works. The kind of person you bring into your inner circle because you think they're loyal. When the report hits Meghan's desk, she just stares at it. Doesn't say anything for a long time, just reads the name over and over, like if she looks at it enough times, it'll change to someone else. "Impossible," she finally says, voice quiet, almost like she's talking to herself. "She's loyal. She's been nothing but loyal. She lives in my guest house, for crying out loud." But the timestamps don't lie. Cold, hard data. The audio was exported from this assistant's MacBook at 2:13 a.m., the same night as the midnight calls, compressed into an MP3, encrypted with a basic password, then uploaded through a London proxy server to make it look like it came from overseas. The trail was covered, but not well enough. Digital breadcrumbs led right back to that laptop, that account, that person. Meghan's first reaction isn't anger, it's fear, pure ice-cold fear. Because this assistant didn't just have access to one recording, she had access to all of it. Call logs going back months, email drafts that never got sent, calendar entries with private notes, text messages, voice memos. Recordings Meghan thought were deleted, but were actually just moved to cloud storage. If one leaked audio made it out to the world, how many more are sitting on a hard drive somewhere? How many more bombshells are ready to explode? Security footage gets pulled immediately. Cameras at the front gate, the driveway, the side entrance. They scroll back to that morning right after the audio dropped online. And there she is, 5:47 a.m. The assistant's leaving the property. Hoodie pulled up over her head, suitcase rolling behind her, Phone powered completely off so it can't be tracked. She vanishes through the gate and doesn't look back. Didn't leave a note. Didn't send a resignation email. Just packed up and disappeared like she knew exactly what was about to happen.
One time, I just woke up, I'm in my underwear, I plop down in front of the TV, I turn it on. The moment I turn it on, Prince Harry's talking shit about me. I'm like,
Hours later, a new headline hits tabloids worldwide. Inside Source sold Meghan meltdown audio for $125,000. The story spreads fast. According to reports from the Daily Mail, a former member of Meghan's inner circle approached multiple outlets over the past week, offered the tape as part of what she called a larger archive of internal recordings. When reporters asked for comment, when they tracked her down and got her on the phone, she didn't deny anything. Didn't apologize, she owned it completely. "I didn't betray anyone," she told them, voice steady. "I exposed the truth. People deserve to know what it's like behind those walls. They deserve to see who she really is when nobody's watching." That quote spreads like wildfire, gets picked up by every news outlet, every blog, every social media account covering the story. Hashtag behind those walls floods social media for 48 hours straight. People start using it for everything. Memes, commentary, think pieces about power and control and what happens when you try to manage your image too carefully. The phrase becomes bigger than the scandal itself. Inside Montecito, Meghan's fury finally boils over. All the controlled responses she'd been holding back, all the measured statements, it all cracks. She calls her fixer at 3 a.m. Voice trembling, not with sadness, but with pure rage. "Find her," she says into the phone. The person on the other end tries to respond, tries to calm her down, but she cuts them off. "I don't care where she went. I don't care what it takes. Find her." But even as she's making demands, even as she's trying to take control back, investigators are uncovering something else. Something that makes the situation so much worse. They're going through the assistant's old computer data, the stuff she didn't wipe before leaving. And buried in a folder marked Backup Archives, they discover 2 more encrypted audio tracks, just sitting there. The names make Meghan's blood run cold. Phone call Charles.M4A and note to Harry.wave. She doesn't need to listen to them to know what they are. Private conversations, family discussions, things that were never ever supposed to leave that house. Whatever those recordings contain, whatever words got captured and saved, Meghan knows they could end her entire carefully constructed public image, her reputation, her brand, all of it. That night, she picks up her phone one more time, dials a private number, a fixer she's used before for situations like this. When the person answers, Meghan doesn't waste time with pleasantries or explanations.
You know, I mean, she used to be on
Was
Deal
he
or No
infiltrated?
Deal. She was one of the
Is
Deal
that
or No Deal
technically
ladies.
the way it works? Is he
I think
infiltrated
so.
or was
Her voice comes out as barely more than a whisper, but it's firm, determined, maybe a little desperate. "Delete everything," she says. "I don't care how you do it. Just wipe it all, make it disappear." She hangs up before getting a response. Sits there in the dark, phone still in her hand, wondering if it's already too late. Wondering if those recordings are already out there somewhere, copied and backed up, and ready to surface at any moment. Because here's what Meghan doesn't know yet. What she can't possibly know. The cloud backup she's most afraid of, the one she thinks she can still control, has already been copied by someone else. And that person isn't gone. They're just watching. Holding on to proof that Meghan's attempts to control the narrative reached far beyond Joe Rogan's podcast. By the weekend, the whole narrative shifts. It's not just about the leaked tape anymore. It's not about Rogan or Spotify or midnight phone calls. It's become something else entirely. A mystery. The kind that keeps people up at night refreshing their feeds, waiting for the next piece to drop. The name first appears on Reddit. Late Friday night, posted in a thread about the Meghan drama. An account nobody's ever seen before. 0 post history, created that same day. The username is just random letters and numbers. But the message, that gets attention fast. phone_call_Charles.M4A is out there. Same source. Worse than the first one. Wait for it. The account vanishes within hours. Profile deleted, comments wiped, like it was never there. But screenshots? Those spread everywhere. People start dissecting every word, analyzing what worse than the first one could possibly mean. Within minutes, the thread explodes. Hundreds of comments, then thousands. Commenters throwing out theories. People with opinions about what this mystery audio might contain. Commenters claim it's another leak from the same assistant who sold the first tape. Some say it's tied to a private phone conversation between Meghan and a senior member of the royal family. Others think it's about money, or titles, or some kind of family confrontation that got recorded without anyone knowing. The speculation gets wilder by the hour. Nobody can confirm it's actually real. No journalists ever played it. No outlets ever verified it. But that doesn't matter. The rumor alone is enough to ignite headlines worldwide. Social media absolutely runs wild with it. TikTok videos speculating about what's on the tape rack up millions of views.
Being judged on the perception, but you're living the reality of it. There's a complete misalignment, and there's no way to explain that.
Twitter threads with supposed insider knowledge go viral every few hours. YouTube channels dedicated to royal drama start pumping out videos with titles like "The Audio They Don't Want You to Hear" and "What's Really on the Charles File." Even people who never cared about Meghan before are suddenly invested, following every update, waiting for confirmation. That single rumor hits like a grenade. Because here's the thing about the internet, it doesn't need proof, it just needs possibility. And the possibility that there's another tape out there, potentially worse than the first, potentially involving direct family conversations. That's enough to keep the story alive for days. In Montecito, Meghan is absolutely terrified. Not just scared, but genuinely panicked that the internet's going to start fabricating audio clips just to keep the drama going. Deep fakes are around. AI voice cloning is a thing now. What's to stop someone from creating a fake audio file and releasing it as real? What's to stop the whole thing from spiraling completely out of her control? One person who works there later describes her pacing the hallways at odd hours, phone glued to her hand, demanding answers from her team. "Find out who keeps feeding this story," she says over and over. "Someone's coordinating this. Someone knows something." That evening, she calls an emergency Zoom meeting. Her advisors, her PR team, anyone left who hasn't quit yet. The meeting starts tense and gets worse from there. Someone later leaks the agenda, and it includes just one main point written in all caps. Control narrative before next Monday's headlines. That's it. That's the whole focus. Stop the bleeding before it gets worse. The call gets heated fast. Meghan wants to fight back immediately. Put out a statement. Call the rumors what they are. Threaten anyone spreading false information. But her advisors practically beg her to slow down. One of them, voice shaking, says what everyone's thinking. If you confirm or deny this, you validate it. People will assume there's something real to hide. Right now, it's just internet gossip. The second you respond, it becomes news. Another advisor jumps in. Let it burn out. These things always do. Give it a few days and something else will take over the news cycle. But Meghan's not convinced. She sits there, camera on, staring at the screen with this look that everyone describes the same way. Trapped. Like she's watching her entire world get picked apart in real time and there's nothing she can do to stop it.
They didn't even kick Meghan Markle out the family, and they racist.
These changes result from long-standing controversies over Andrew's association.
Meanwhile, British media outlets start circling the Daily Mail, the Telegraph, the Sun, all the tabloids that have covered her for years. Several claim to have verification that the audio is real. Sources say this: Insiders confirm that. But here's the problem. None of them actually produce it. Not a single outlet plays the audio or even offers concrete proof it's real. They're all hedging, covering themselves, reporting on the rumor without confirming the substance. Morning shows across the UK start debating the whole situation. Panels of experts and commentators arguing back and forth. Does this file even exist? One host asks. Or is this an elaborate online hoax designed to keep Meghan in the headlines? The debate goes on for hours across multiple networks. People have takes, people have opinions, and every opinion just makes the mystery bigger. By Sunday night, Meghan's exhausted. You can see it in the way her team describes that final meeting. She's done fighting, done trying to control something that feels completely out of her hands. She sends a message to her remaining staff. Short, direct. No statements, no responses, let it burn itself out. Then she logs off, shuts her phone down, disappears from communication completely. But the fire doesn't die. It shifts. Because on Monday morning, reporters start publishing a different kind of article. Not about the tape itself, but about the chaos around it. How an unverified audio file became a global nightmare. How Meghan's entire public image got shredded by a rumor that might not even be real. The headlines shift from accusatory to analytical. The modern media machine, how Meghan Markle became a case study. When rumors become reality, inside the latest royal scandal. She's not the villain anymore. She's the example, the warning, the case study for what happens when you lose control of your own narrative in the digital age. But here's what most people don't know. What doesn't make it into those think pieces and analysis articles. Quietly, behind closed doors, people inside both camps know something the public doesn't. The rumor isn't entirely false. There is something more than gossip floating around out there. A real audio exchange is somewhere. Maybe not exactly what the Reddit post described, maybe not as dramatic as people think, but something's out there, and in the digital age, nothing ever truly deletes. Things get buried, hidden, moved to private servers and encrypted folders, but they don't disappear. Somewhere out there on some hard drive or cloud backup or forgotten laptop,
She found out on Twitter. Has Prince Harry left the throne?
That is a remarkably accurate.
Thank you.
audio files are sitting that could change everything. The question isn't whether they're real, the question is when they'll surface. And who's holding on to them, waiting for the perfect moment to press play. Monday morning, the so-called second recording goes from an internet whisper to a full-blown media hunt. It's not about whether the tape is real anymore. It's about who's going to find it first, who's going to break the story, who's going to be the one to play it for the world. Investigative journalists start comparing notes, deleted tweets from that mysterious Reddit account, time-stamped posts that appeared and vanished, metadata from screenshots that got shared before the original post disappeared. One pattern stands out almost immediately. Every single post, every upload, every trace of activity came from the same 2-hour window, and all of it tracked back to Santa Barbara County. That tiny detail, that one geographic clue, reignites speculation faster than anything before it. The leak didn't come from London, didn't come from Austin. It came from inside Montecito. Soon after, photographers swarm outside Meghan's property gates. Dozens of them. Cameras with telephoto lenses pointed at windows, drones buzzing overhead, trying to capture footage of movement inside. Satellite vans from every major network line the street, blocking traffic. Neighbors complain. Police show up to manage the crowd. But nobody leaves. The media circus has set up camp, and they're not going anywhere until something breaks. Inside the house, the mood is suffocating. Staff who've worked there since the Netflix deal describe it like living under a microscope. Every conversation happens in whispers. Laptops stay shut unless absolutely necessary. Phones get confiscated at the start of each day, locked in a drawer until work ends. Every single email now has to route through a review process before it can be sent. People are scared to even breathe wrong. One person later tells Entertainment Weekly, "No one knew what was real anymore. We didn't know who to trust. Every rumor felt like it could blow up into the next headline. People were terrified." Her head of communications resigns that Monday. Just walks in, hands over a letter, and walks out. Doesn't explain, doesn't give notice, just leaves. A senior advisor books a flight back to London the same afternoon, packs up, says goodbye to no one, and disappears. The team that's left? They're rattled, shell-shocked, trying to hold together something that feels like it's collapsing in real time.
You know what's going on. Someone wanted a lot of attention, and now they got it.
That was the whole episode.
That was the ep.
Yeah.
That was the premise.
Is that what it was?
We want.
Then something unexpected happens. Something that changes the entire direction of the hunt. A veteran investigative reporter, someone who's covered royal drama for decades, receives a package at their office. No return address, just their name typed on a label, stuck to a padded envelope that looks like it's been through hell. The reporter opens it carefully. Inside, wrapped in bubble wrap, is a USB drive. Silver. Scratched up. No branding, just a faint fingerprint smudged across the metal edge. And underneath the drive, a brief note typed on plain white paper. "This is what they were afraid of. Listen for yourself." The reporter hesitates. They've seen manufactured leaks before. Deep fakes, PR stunts designed to generate clicks. But something about this package feels different. The courier had been anonymous, the envelope handwritten. Inside the padding, there's even a faint smell of cigarette smoke, like someone sealed it in a hurry and didn't care about the details. They don't open it immediately. Protocol matters here. They call their editor. Loop in a digital forensics specialist. Hand the drive to a clean laptop with no external access, no internet connection, nothing that could accidentally spread malware or trigger something dangerous. The tech specialist plugs it in, runs a security scan, then opens the folder. 3 tracks appear on screen, 1 text transcript, and a folder simply labeled context. The specialist clicks on the first one, plays it through headphones first. It's too muffled to understand clearly. Static, background noise, people barely audible like the phone was in someone's pocket during a conversation. Nothing usable. They skip to the second track. This one's clearer. Much clearer. It's a phone conversation between 2 people. The first speaker is male, British, mid-50s, clipped, measured, the kind of accent you'd hear in formal settings. The second is unmistakably American, emotional, persuasive, the kind of tone someone uses when they're trying to make a point, trying to be heard. It's impossible to confirm who's speaking just from listening. But the accents, the phrasing, the speech patterns, they match public recordings from years earlier. The specialist plays it 3 times, takes notes, flags, timestamps, where the conversation gets particularly tense. The conversation itself isn't damaging on the surface. It's not explosive. There's no screaming, no accusations, no dramatic revelations. But what makes it powerful...
Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in...
is how human it sounds. 2 people from opposite sides of the same family situation, talking past each other. One person speaks about feeling silenced, about not being heard, about being pushed aside. The other warns about burning bridges that can't be rebuilt, about consequences that can't be undone. It's layered with years of resentment, years of misunderstanding, years of hurt that never got addressed. When the recording ends, there's a long silence in the room. The reporter and the specialist just sit there processing what they heard. Finally, the specialist speaks. "It's clean," they say quietly. "No edits, no fake sound, no splicing. If this is manufactured, if someone created this, it's the most sophisticated deep fake I've ever seen. and I've seen a lot. The reporter leans back, stunned. If they publish this, if they check it out and put it out there, it won't just be another headline. It'll reignite every royal controversy from the past 5 years. Every family dispute, every palace drama, everything. They open the text transcript next. It's a written version of the conversation, formatted neatly, timestamps included. Halfway through, there's a section highlighted in bright yellow, and next to it, written in red ink, a single sentence. He told her this call would never see daylight. The reporter's stomach drops. This isn't just a leaked conversation. This is something someone recorded specifically to keep as leverage, something that was never meant to go public. And now it's sitting on their desk, waiting for a decision. The reporter doesn't rush to print. They do what few people in the industry still bother doing. They reach out for comment. 2 emails, one to the palace press office, one to Meghan's communications director. Both messages are carefully worded, asking for a response, offering a chance to comment before anything goes live. The palace response comes back within an hour, swift, clinical, icily polite. We have no comment on private unverified materials. Meghan's team takes longer, time passes. Then finally, late that night, a response comes through. Short, defensive, unmistakably alarmed. We are aware of a false attempt to fabricate private correspondence. Any publication will face immediate action. But by then, it's already too late. Because a staffer at the paper, someone who didn't know about the ongoing review process, leaked the existence of the drive to a rival outlet. Just mentioned it casually in a conversation. And that conversation...
And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you...
got overheard. Before long, headlines blow up across the internet. Journalist holds unreleased recording between Meghan and royal family member. Mystery USB drive could reopen palace drama. Sources say new tape is authentic. At 9:32 p.m. London time, The Independent posts a single tweet. 7 words that detonate across every platform. Confirmed, the recording is authentic. The internet goes absolutely wild. The night of the stream feels less like an interview and more like a global reckoning. Everyone's been waiting for this. News networks clear their schedules. Social media influencers cancel their plans to watch live. Group chats light up, with people coordinating viewing parties. This isn't entertainment. This is history happening in real time. Netflix's countdown ticks across screens worldwide. Millions of people tuned in, sitting on couches, staring at phones, gathered in bars with the stream projected on big screens. The anticipation is thick. What's she gonna say? How's she gonna spin this? Can she actually salvage her reputation after everything that's come out? The title card appears in bold red letters against a black background. The tape, the reality, the end. No other text, no context. Just those 5 words hanging there, heavy with implication. Then the lights dim, the camera pans slowly inward. And there she is. Meghan sits alone. No interviewer beside her asking softball questions. No audience to play to. No studio setup with multiple cameras and fancy lighting. A single chair beneath a hanging microphone. The atmosphere is haunting. Muted tones, bare background, minimal production. It's designed to look raw, unfiltered, authentic, like she's stripping away all the layers and finally showing the real person underneath. I know what the world thinks they heard, she begins, voice soft, almost fragile. But no one has asked why I said what I said. No one has asked what led to that point, what pushed me there. Her voice trembles. Not a lot, barely noticeable, part rehearsed, part raw emotion bleeding through. She talks about pressure, about feeling hunted by tabloids, by social media, by a world that seemed determined to destroy her no matter what she did. She speaks about being painted as a manipulator, a schemer, someone who calculated every move when really she was trying to survive. Every sentence is crafted for maximum empathy. The pauses land perfectly. The voice cracks come at exactly the right times. Yet underneath all that careful delivery, there's something else.
The most influential man in the world, Time magazine should have been.
No, Meghan Markle beat me.
God. How?
An undertone that's unmistakably defensive. Like she's not telling her side. She's trying to control how viewers interpret it. When someone records a call, edits it, and releases it to hurt you, she continues, that's not journalism. That's not transparency. That's cruelty. That's someone weaponizing your worst moment against you. Clips of her earlier interviews flash briefly across the screen. Quick cuts, smiles with Harry, laughter at public events, then tears during the Oprah sit-down. The production is flawless, maybe too flawless. Everything calculated. Every image chosen to reinforce the narrative she's building. Victim, survivor, someone who's been wronged but refuses to stay down. Then she leans forward, the tone shifts, gets harder, more determined. There's one thing you haven't heard, she says, eyes locked on the camera, because they cut it, because it didn't fit what they wanted to tell about me. The footage cuts to static for a second, intentional, dramatic. Then it returns. Her voice echoes through the silence, replaying the infamous line. I said, if they won't stop the lies, I'll make them wish they had. Long pause. She lets that sentence hang there, then continues. What I meant was another pause. I'd speak up first. I'd tell what actually happened. Before they could twist it. Before they could turn me into something I'm not. The words land like a thunderclap. The entire framing changes in an instant. It's no longer a threat, it's a plea for honesty. A declaration that she was trying to protect herself. And for a brief window, it works. Online sentiment flips. Viewers flood timelines with comments. She's taking back her narrative. Finally, the context we needed. This changes everything. The narrative starts shifting in real time. Viewers who doubted her begin reconsidering. Maybe she wasn't the villain after all. Maybe she was backed into a corner. Maybe the tape was taken out of context. Maybe. Then, 15 minutes into the special, something happens that nobody expected. Something that destroys everything she built. The feed glitches, not a small hiccup, a full visual distortion. The audio warps, colors bleed across the screen, and in the bottom corner, a flash of red text appears. For a split second. Archive file attached. Do not delete. Most viewers miss it. It's too fast, but screen recorders catch it. And what comes next, that's impossible to miss. Raw footage appears, unedited production logs scrolling past, timestamps, camera angles, director's notes, and then, crystal clear, a behind-the-scenes clip.
Now, having gone through this learning curve in the past year and a half, I did not have any understanding of
Meghan sitting in that same chair. But this time, the mic's not on. She's talking to her producer, discussing camera angles, adjusting her posture, running through the script. Does it sound believable if I cry after that line? She asks, voice completely different from before. No trembling, no vulnerability. Flat, technical discussion. Or should I do it before? Which plays better? The producer responds, but the audio's unclear. Meghan nods. Okay, let's try both ways. We'll pick the best one in post. Screen cuts to black, hard, sudden, like someone yanked the plug. Social media erupts instantly, not with support, with outrage, with betrayal, with screenshots and recordings of that glitch spreading faster than anything else in the entire scandal. The hashtag split into camps within minutes. Hashtag Team Truth for people who still believe her. Hashtag Team Exposed for everyone else. And within an hour, hashtag Team Exposed is dominating by a massive margin. Viewers argue whether the glitch was real or a deliberate counterleak. Did Netflix insiders sabotage the stream? Did someone hack it? Was it the palace getting revenge? Did Meghan's own team turn on her? The theories explode across every platform. Reddit threads hit thousands of comments. Twitter's trending page is nothing but Meghan-related hashtags. TikTok's flooded with reaction videos, viewers filming themselves watching the glitch, their faces going from empathy to shock to anger. By morning, the conversation has completely flipped. What started as a redemption attempt ended as confirmation of everything the public suspected. She rehearsed her emotions. She calculated her tears. She treated the whole thing like a performance, and millions saw it in real time. The palace maintains its silence, releases only one line through an official spokesperson. The monarchy will not respond to theatrics. That's it. Nothing else. No elaboration, no explanation. That single devastating sentence that says everything without saying anything. But behind closed doors, according to sources close to the family, everyone's furious. Not because of the interview itself, because she tried to manipulate public sympathy again, because she turned a family situation into a global spectacle again, because she couldn't step back and let things settle. One insider later tells The Times, this was the final straw, the last chance burned. And Meghan? She goes completely silent. No social media, no statements, no appearances. Her team tries damage control, but there's nothing left to control.
Is about fairness. Suffrage is not simply about the right to vote, but also about what that represents.
The narrative's gone. The sympathy's gone. The benefit of the doubt, that's been gone for a while, but now it's buried so deep it's never coming back. What was supposed to be her redemption became her downfall. And the internet doesn't forget. The glitch gets archived, memed, turned into a cultural reference that defines how she's seen forever. The world thought it was over. The glitch, the broadcast, the memes. Everyone assumed that was the final chapter. Meghan had been exposed, the internet had moved on, and the story was done. Case closed. But it wasn't. 2 weeks later, another package appears. Not in a journalist's mailbox this time. Not sent anonymously to a newsroom. This one arrives at a very different address. Same envelope as before. Same padding. Same typewriter font on the label. Whoever sent the first USB drive, whoever leaked the original tape, they're not done yet. This time, the package goes directly to the palace. Kensington Palace, to be specific. Delivered by courier to the main security desk. No return address, no explanation. Guards follow protocol, run it through screening, check for threats. It's clean. An envelope with a drive inside and a note that reads simply, "You'll want to hear this one." The package gets passed up the chain, security to administration, administration to private secretaries, and eventually it lands on the desk of someone senior enough to make the call about what to do with it. According to the single insider who later dared speak about what happened next, they gathered in a private room. No press, no witnesses, a handful of people who needed to know. They plugged the drive into an isolated computer, opened the folder, and there it was, a single audio file. The name on the screen made everyone in the room go completely still. Harry_01_final.mp3. Nobody moved, nobody spoke. For a long stretch, they debated whether to even play it. What if it was fake? What if it was bait? What if playing it made things worse? But curiosity won. It always does. Someone pressed play. And according to that same insider, when the audio filled the room, even the king went silent. Not because it was shocking in the way the Meghan tape was shocking, but because this time it wasn't about her. This was different. This was internal. Family. Things said in private that were never meant to leave the walls they were spoken within. Whatever was on that file, no one outside those palace walls has ever heard it. The insider wouldn't say what it contained, wouldn't even hint at the subject.
Well, I'm a little upset with Prince Harry, but other than that, it's working out really well.
Are you mad that he left the...
Only that it changed the mood in the room from cautious to deeply concerned. And that afterward, the file was immediately locked down, encrypted. moved to secure storage where only a handful of people have access. The drive itself, reportedly destroyed. The note, shredded. And everyone who was in that room when it played, sworn to absolute silence. No leaks, no hints, no confirmations. The palace's official position remains what it's always been. No comment. But behind that wall of silence, people know. And knowing changes things. But here's what's clear. The battle over control and reputation isn't ending. Not for Meghan, not for the palace, not for anyone caught in the middle of this spiral. It's evolving, shifting, taking new forms. What started as a podcast controversy became a leaked tape. The leaked tape became a media firestorm. The firestorm became a broadcast. And the broadcast became proof that nothing stays buried anymore. And somewhere in the dark space between loyalty and betrayal, there's someone out there, capturing everything, collecting pieces, holding on to fragments of conversations that could detonate at any moment. Maybe it's a former staff member with an axe to grind. Maybe it's someone inside the palace walls who's tired of watching from the sidelines. Maybe it's multiple people, all with their own agendas, their own reasons for wanting certain information to come out. Because in the digital age, nothing ever truly disappears. Things get deleted, sure, files get wiped, emails get scrubbed, but copies are out there, backups are around, cloud storage keeps everything. And there are people who know where to look, who know how to retrieve what was supposed to be gone forever. The tapes don't vanish, they sit dormant, on hard drives, hidden in folders with innocuous names, encrypted with passwords only one person knows. Ready for the right time, the right headline, the right moment when releasing them will cause maximum impact. The question isn't who's right or wrong anymore. That debate ended the moment the first tape leaked. Now it's about something else entirely. It's about who's holding the microphone, who controls the narrative, who decides what gets heard and when. And in a world where everyone can capture anything, where phones document everything, where no conversation is truly private, that power shifts constantly. Meghan tried to control it, she failed. The palace tried to contain it. They can't. Because the real power doesn't belong to institutions anymore. It doesn't belong to PR teams or crisis managers or carefully crafted statements. It belongs to whoever's willing to hit record and eventually press play.
I don't know how they could expect that after all of this time, we would still just be silent.
And that's the scariest part. Not what we've heard, but what's out there, ready to drop, ready to surface the second someone decides the time is right. The story isn't over, it's paused, and nobody knows when the next file will surface, or what it'll contain, or whose voice will be on it when it does. So that's where we are. The tape leaked, the broadcast backfired, and somewhere out there, someone's holding on to the next file. Nobody knows when it'll drop or what's on it, but it's coming. If you want more stories like this, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and tell me what you think happens next. I'll catch you in the next one.